growth, right?
I'm
Like
just gonna
that's
record this because
okay. You know what?
I'm just
That's
gonna
why.
record this
Okay, growth,
because
but
this is the first pod. This is the first podcast. We might as well let the viewers in on how we're developing the name and why we're choosing it.
okay.
Um,
Why don't we
so
ask?
so I'm set on Growth Mind, and that's because I'm creating and launching a company called Growth Mind Co., which is a company that revolves around coaching, merchandise, and potentially other avenues. Because with a growth mindset, there's always new opportunities and new avenues. That's the reason why I was thinking if I was to add the podcast name as Growth Mind Podcast or Growth Mind, then that's just adding to the brand awareness. That was my that's why I thought that that name would be beneficial. And it's supportive and it's a good name. But what would be your name of the podcast then?
I mean, the same logic could apply to growth mindset. I just like the combination of growth mindset more than.
But growth mindset is already like coined by like Carol Dweck, who's actually, I don't know if she's like the director, like the dean of, but she's like a doctor out of Stanford University. Okay. But I believe she coined the term. And actually, we could probably look it up. We could actually ask ChatGPT. Sure. Here, let's do that. Oh.
Yeah, you did not you just mentioned this, and so I mean that's the most valid reason on why we can go with growth mind if something's already been coined.
Yeah. So wait a second. What would be a good question? Is it what's the origin of growth mindset, or who came
growth mindset trademarked?
Is growth?
Is the term growth mindset trademarked? Coined by Sin. Okay. Okay, yeah. So
I want to like just the fact that
but coined means she created it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's protected.
Yeah. So like she's the one that created that like ideology of growth mindset. Like what is.
So wouldn't it benefit you to name your brand after a term that a Stanford's University psychologist coined but hasn't trademarked? Because that just for the fact that she is.
Here, well, no, you can keep talking. We can go on this topic after, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it would be ideal, but like, I don't want like, I guess the way I look at it is like, I would almost want to like ask her and get that approval. And right. Like, I don't really know. I don't
write her an email, just genuinely say, hey.
Yeah, but then but then that's going to be tailored to her. Like I love the idea of growth mindset, and I think it's like it holds a lot of positive values in regards to success and growth. And I believe it's true as well. You know, like our brains are plastic. Even after becoming adults, we still have plasticity. We can still engage in plasticity. A lot of that happens generally during the development stage between birth and 25. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I love the term, but I didn't want to take it because, again, it was created by someone else. So like I was just trying to come up with like an abbreviation of it in a way. It still holds similar value. It's just not the exact word.
I mean, you can
like because if you think of growth mindset, or if you think of growth mind. Like you're almost like when you think of growth mind, you're almost thinking of growth mindset. Like you're thinking of your brain, like growth mind.
See, I would argue against that, which is that until you said growth mindset, I didn't have a clear definition. Growth mind was just an incomplete 2-word combination.
But what does growth mind sound like to you?
Growth mind just it could be anything. So let me think. What does that sound like? Growth mind. like growing your mind, but like mindset is more specific than mind, or I guess there's like like a mind, right? Like your mind can hold a bunch of information. You can use it in a much more broader context. But mindset is almost like, hey, this is like mindset, mentality. I already have acronyms that are like, all the acronyms are more compactly connected to the word mindset to me. So
Well, yeah, I guess my thought is like I'm trying to create a company that has like is just like open of opportunity, and like with coaching and the type of coaching that I do, it really does revolve around like accepting change and accepting like challenge and uncomfort and like pushing past resistance, and like for me, like growth mind is like when I think of growth mind, I just think of like the opportunity for your mind to grow. And that's kind of like the message that I'm trying to push. And it's inspired by the coin term growth mindset. And growth mindset wasn't an existing term until Carol Dweck created it. So it's like for me, like I'm creating a variation of it. And it's more of just it's just I guess when I think of growth mind,
well, you could take her teachings further instead of creating a variation right off the bat.
no, I'm doing exactly that. I have within my one of my programs is a growth mindset program. It's to help people engage in more of a growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset.
Great. So then it's just like, what name do we like more? I'm still on the side of growth mindset because that just flows better.
But I don't want to steal it from her.
You're not stealing it. No one owns words. No one own words.
Yeah, they do. It could be.
But that doesn't mean you can't contribute it. What if you end up contributing more than her because you took it further? Because you learned about what she taught, and then we used AI to like get into this.
Yeah,
topic.
I know, but Ray, as like a creator, like it's like if someone took the name Latitudes and brought it to another level, like you would feel offended, or not offended, but like you would like, yeah, you'd feel a little offended, right? Because it's like it's something that you created.
That's the difference. Is I have the every right of intentionally trademarking, creating the branding, having like ownership of Latitudes, and then the ideology that it presents and the software that it presents. This is just, she's a psychologist. She's just really like touching on a specific topic, and then she's like, she found a way to encapsulate a topic, and
should I ask chat? So
she discovered something. She discovered a way to organize a set of thoughts that represent something called growth mindset. That's what I mean. So she's just like almost a teacher, No,
she is like
where I'm the entrepreneur, so I'm definitely going to be annoyed. But for her, if I was in her shoe, I'd be like, all right, great. Someone decided to start a company. Like, awesome, with the word I coined. I mean, you could just email her, and then if she says no, then I'm on board with growth mind. But if you
okay, well, yeah, well, we can definitely do that. Actually, I have on OpenAI on the playground version, I actually have her email, because I was asking like what would be the best way to reach out to Dr. Dweck, and she actually that the AI was like, oh, well, this would be a good way to like approach it, and here's the email as well. I was like, okay, nice. But yeah, I do love the concepts. Like, I don't know, it's things that exist, right? Like our brains had the ability to adapt and form and like learn new things. But it is really based on our beliefs. If we if we don't believe that we can accomplish something, then what's the chances that we're actually going to accomplish something?
Very
Like if you have the
other than
belief,
believing.
if you
It's
have
other than believing.
if you believe that you're going to accomplish something, the chances of you accomplishing that is going to be much higher, rather than if you tell yourself, oh, this is impossible, I can never do that, then the chances of you accomplishing something that you think is impossible is slim. Like there's still a chance that you might do it, but just holding the belief and using that energy and momentum to move forward is going to reduce the opportunity of you finding success there. So that's kind of what growth mindset is just understanding that your brain is plastic. And if you believe that you can accomplish and work towards things, that your brain actually engages in that plasticity. Because like your brain's then recognizing like, hey, this is something that I want. This is something that or like whether it's like a want or a need, like your brain engages in plasticity when it recognizes that like, this is what I need, because it's based on kind of like on survival instincts, right? Like if you never had encountered a saber-toothed tiger when you were a caveman, and then you experienced one and you're like, wow, this is going to kill me, then your brain learns that like, hey, I need to do anything at all costs to stay away from the saber-toothed tiger, because if not, my life's going to be over. And that's where memories and learning and everything develops. I don't know if I just threw you off. It looks like I might have.
A little bit.
I might have ranted a little too much.
I would say, that, yeah, we like growing is a natural thing. It's for making life easier for us. And it's an interesting thing because we are all so complacent, or we like to be as comfortable as possible. So sometimes change is seen as also a negative thing. So it's like seen as a positive and a negative thing. And the truth is that it's usually just better to grow. In my opinion, for myself, like that's the clear path that I would like to spend most of my time.
I was thinking too, like, is there a balance between, growth and like just recognizing that like breaks are good too, because like to me, like if I was thinking like constant growth, like that almost seems overwhelming to an extent. Like there has to be like almost like with anything, right? Like there's points of activity and then points of rest. Right.
Right.
I guess. Well, no, I'll take that back. Right, the world doesn't stop spinning, so that's a
right. I mean, definitely there is.
But from our biology as humans,
rest, right? That needs to be respected. But like, I want it to be the bare minimum. Like, like, okay, this is the most efficient amount of rest I need. And on certain days, I also want to take holidays and vacations, certain times of the year. However, like back to what I said, still want like as much growth as possible. Yes.
Yeah. Well, there was actually something that Andrew Huberman had mentioned. I don't know, maybe eventually we'll bring up the notes that I've created on that, because I've written a ton of notes based on his podcast. But there's actually the most effective way to learn is in short bouts. Like essentially like what he was saying is like within like an hour period of time, it's good to like try to learn something, but then be able to take like a break from it and then go back to it. One thing that actually made me think about way back in the day, which was something that you kind of did before, like I even recognized what it was, but I don't know, there was like points in time with you and coding where, and you probably still do it, where you code and then you get frustrated because you can't like figure out the bug or the error. And then you like really try and you get frustrated, but then you step away from it for a moment to clear your mind to then go back into that work. And like, that's actually a really good practice to have. Like, there's nothing wrong with actually frustration improves your ability to learn. If you lean into the frustration, and it's okay to take a break while you're frustrated, but like realizing like, hey, I'm frustrated, but like this is a good time for me to like learn. rather than like dwelling in like the misery or like the emotion, rather than like turning that frustration into a negative thing, trying to turn it into a positive thing is actually a beneficial thing. So I don't know if you've ever heard about that, but that was also another thing that Andrew Huberman, or Dr. Huberman, I think he's a doctor, but yeah, that's another thing that he talks about, and all that's based on research as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
One thing I wanted to ask ChatGPT a question. Would Dr. Dweck be upset if I turned growth mindset into a company?
name.
Yeah.
Name. Yep. Ask it.
Okay.
This is a good question. Okay, while this is generating, Matt, I think it's always important to push your boundary for pain or your tolerance, or I guess discomfort, like that certain you know what I mean? That threshold that gets pushed is what helps us become stronger.
Yeah. No, definitely. I agree. It's like pain. I don't know if I think pain can teach learning. Like if something's painful and it hurts, like that's something that your brain recognizes and will store that as a memory, which then like when you encounter that situation again, then you're realizing like, hey, I need to avoid that, which then like essentially means that you've like learned from that situation. But at the same time, right, like learning something new is growth, right? I would think so.
Yeah. Different forms.
Yeah.
It is not appropriate for me to speculate. This is how this chat always.
Yeah.
By the way.
Well, eventually it'll change. We can override it to give us a real response, but I feel like it's going to have something important.
Yeah, it is not a trademark term, so you're free to use it in your company's name. That being said, it would be. Ooh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, ask it. Could you see any potential legal issues using the term growth mindset in the education, e-learning sector? Are you going to be doing e-learning mostly?
No, it would be more of like a coach. It'd be a service.
Okay, then yeah. So let's ask if ChatGPT could potentially see any legal issues using the term growth mindset.
Of course. But that being said,
See, search Jules back. Yeah. Okay.
See, my thing is again, just kind of going back to the beginning piece is I don't want to upset the person that coined the term, like she is a very important person and is very established, and like I'd rather be on the right side of like her, her opinion, and also like I don't know, it's like I would want her to say like, hey Matt, like I feel like you're the right person for that opportunity, rather than me just like going without even asking or communicating with her, just saying,
Okay.
oh yeah, we're just gonna take growth mindset and say, now we got growth mindset podcast, come here, like.
Okay, I have an idea. Matt. This is an idea.
Okay.
All right, hear me out. We're gonna have a temporary name. Okay. I have this domain called URL pending.
You have that?
Yes, I have this domain, and what we'll be doing is we'll start off as URL pending. We'll continue to release these type of videos, and then maybe when you've established like what kind of content you're trying to generate, etc. There's a lot of like public information about what we're doing. You share this to this lady, and then be like, hey, look, we're right now URL pending.
Yeah.
We want to decide on a name, and we really liked growth mindset, but Matt here wanted to respect you coining the term, and it meant a lot to him to get your approval. So can we use your term with your blessing?
Yeah, I definitely want her blessing. I feel like that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. I think again, that's why we can just stick with growth mind, and then we can add the set if it's accepted. Unless you come up with a better. I'm open to other podcast names. Again,
okay. Hey, I'm open to that. That's also sounds like a good deal to me. We can start with growth mind, but we're in the direction of seeing if growth mindset could be adopted.
Yeah, we'll make a video of it. I'll get her. I have her email, so we'll record me writing out the email and sending it to her. And then whenever we get a response, then we'll get a response. But yeah, I don't know. I think that is interesting. I figured that there was some type. I mean, I'm pretty surprised that the term's not trademarked, because I feel like it should be. But I'm not going to be the one to try to trademark it. I'm not a pirate, Ray. I want to be. I want like ideas that, I guess for me, just because I am a creator, like I just want things to be as original as possible. And like even with growth mind, like even with growth mind,
you better not back out when we get her blessing. You better not.
Oh no! If we get her blessing, I definitely would run with growth mindset.
Okay, definitely. Good. Okay, that's all I wanted.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, it's like I guess the way I look at it is like, I don't know, just like the company that took our idea for Bouncy Tales and then just put their name on it and started selling it on Amazon. Like that's bullshit, Well, hopefully I don't get in trouble for.
But it's different. It's different. It's different between like the informational space, like the educational space where you're trying to, and actually, that's how I see it. And I know there's also a lot of I guess researchers and professors that want to not only do the like the discovery aspect, but also be recognized for it. So it's good to not tread on or step on any toes.
Yeah. One thing here, I have one other good question. What if we ask ChatGPT what it thinks about the term growth mind
versus growth mindset as
no, not versus growth mindset. Like I want to know like just what's its thoughts around the term growth mind.
Sure.
Or what would be a better question? Like what comes to mind when you hear growth mind? That'd be a good question, right? What comes to mind when you? Okay.
Move quickly, man.
Yeah.
The audience is they're I want you to get to the point.
Oh. It automatically refers to growth mind. So maybe growth mind is already just like an abbreviation of this. Yeah, look at that, Ray. It actually could be interpreted as a shortened version of growth mindset. I love it. So it's just it's like an innovation of the name.
Yeah, but it's just a worse innovation and it doesn't sound as good.
All right, that's fine. I agree. I think growth mindset's better. I agree with you, Ray.
My
But
God,
I don't want to steal Carol Dweck's.
bro, I get this. You've said this like a million times.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I think we're good because this right now we're at like 23 minutes on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to end it here, we could stop recording and pick up on another episode. Which I guess maybe what we can do just to leave a little little treat to chase at the end is what would be some good topics, right? Like what do you want to talk about next?
I want to do some do it yourself videos using OpenAI to kind of give us like free consulting. There's one. So the one thing that I really want for myself right now is a filtration system for my sink to drink water from there. I don't trust New York tap water.
Why don't you just buy a filter then?
Right, but like having it just be a quick filter from the sink is a lot nicer of experience than filling up this jug, putting it in the fridge.
Yeah, but there's a Brita sink filter that you basically just like plug over the sink nozzle.
Right, and I've seen that, and I want to do a comparison versus like these machines that I've seen that are much more complex. You install them under the sink. They do reverse osmosis.
Yeah.
Just like, and then it has like a list of 8 different other additional feature involving some chemical terms I have no idea what they're about.
But you're wanting to do, what are you trying to consult with ChatGPT about this?
What are these exact, like, do they matter? Do these features matter when it comes to my water experience, or is it almost negligible?
Okay.
And I would also like to ask my friend who got his PhD in environmental engineering. I wanted to tell you something more specifically, but I forgot what it was actually. But he's very knowledgeable. Like,
okay, are we?
And we can bring in someone to critique ChatGPT's answers to make sure that also this AI isn't spouting bullshit, because I've seen it spout bullshit before.
Okay, so wait a second. Our second episode, we're bringing on a guest.
Well, we're pitching ideas. So this idea, I definitely want to do a video on. The other option is to talk about how we can set up our YouTube channel and then continue on this rolling. Because since the first episode was coming up with the branding, the second episode could be like infrastructure, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely game to talk about like formatting, because I don't know. This is like an experiment to us. I've never made a podcast. I've been wanting to create content, and I feel like for me, like this is a great opportunity for me to just get comfortable talking in front of a camera. So
Join Toastmasters.
yeah, and not only that, like we've always had creative conversations. Whether they're all high quality, who knows? But if anything, people are gonna be like, "What are these fools doing on here?"
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I'm definitely going to say that if it gets a lot of negative reviews and we look actually stupid, we're definitely taking this off the internet.
Right. What did we say that was bad?
Huh?
Like there was I don't think anything about this video was negative.
Yeah. Me neither.
It's just us being ourselves,
Yeah.
So, and I think it was funny too, because we just debated for so long about what Dr. Dweck would say. What if she eventually saw this video? That would be really cool.
I hope she does, because that would actually make things pretty interesting.
Yeah, for real. But,
and then we bring her on, and then she talks about growth mindset.
Yeah,
teaches this AI a little lesson or two.
Yeah, she could be like the AI trainer for this. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's done a pretty good good job in regards to the information.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I feel like it's done a pretty good job. I think there's like some things that it could enhance. Maybe like talking a little bit more on like the neuroscience side of it about like plasticity and stuff. But I don't know, for another day. But yeah, great. But I feel like this was a success. So
Great.
yeah, what I'll end up doing just so that we can review this recording as well is I'm just going to upload this to like a shared drive on Google, and then we can check it out, and then if we get the thumbs up, then this thing's going to be posted. First video on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Also, at some point, I may switch my identity for a mechanical robot that I'm going to 3D print.
Okay. So you're going to wear a mask?
Or we need to do that for ChatGPT.
Okay.
Actually, I would like. It would be awesome if we could get the responses to be translated to audio.
Yeah.
A little figure that will represent ChatGPT, and then its mouth opens and it's like.
Well, can you program that, or do you think? Wait a second. Could we program that through ChatGPT?
I think it's possible. I think the features exist separate, and maybe we could even use ChatGPT to connect the two.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we're running out of time, but yeah, there's actually, I think it's called like Codex, but there's a option not on ChatGPT but on the Playground version that you can actually write code and it will present. Like I saw someone through this option basically make a video game on ChatGPT. It was like a Pong video game. It was like an asteroid moving around with a spaceship going in a horizontal direction. And by if you clicked on the spaceship, then it like thrusted forward. So then you basically had to click on the spaceship to avoid hitting the asteroid. But he did it all through. I don't know. I'll find the video and I can send it to you. But yeah,
okay, cool.
All right. Well, yeah. Good talk, Ray.
Good talk, Matt.
See you next time.
Didn't mean to rush you at the end.
No, well, we're down to less than a minute, so it's going to cut off anytime now. So
great.
All right. I'll see you.
Good night, man.